Okay. All right. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to a Monday Night Call. Hi, Michelle. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. So we've got a Monday. This is our Monday evening call, just talking about the forthcoming Brighton Conference, which is going to be incredible. I think we've got something like 3,000 people there, and it's just now a little over a month away. So we just want to make sure that we're all fully prepared. We know exactly what's going on. And everybody then can, really take full advantage of the conference. So we're very pleased that we've got absolute legend Bob Burdick from Florida today, who's joining us. So Bob, we'll come on to you in a moment, and once we talked a little bit about the conference itself.
Sure.
Great. Okay, so why don't we just start, Gordon? Why don't we just start with Michelle? Is Michelle there with you?
Yeah.
Yes, please. Hello, Michelle. Why don't we just start with a bit of an overview about the conference and, what's going to be happening. And then we want to talk about the conference, and obviously we want to talk about our dinner as well.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So the conference, 23rd and 24th of March down in Brighton. Brighton's an amazing location for us, so it's really exciting that we're there beside the seaside. And it's in an amazing place, the actual conference itself. I know a lot of people have booked along the seafront, and we have got an amazing team dinner. I mean, our team dinners are now becoming quite famous, and we've had other groups asking to join us. So I know that's going to happen on the Saturday evening. So going back, the conference actually starts at 1 o'clock on the Saturday and finishes at 2 o'clock on the Sunday. So we've got an amazing agenda, which the company are keeping fairly under wraps at the moment. They're just releasing the snippets of who's going to be speaking. And for those that were at last year's conference, we had Stephen Bartlett, who was an amazing, amazing young lad. I'll say young lad, he's probably about 23, I think. But the way he delivered his talk, his just demeanour, his humbleness, and what he's created through social media is absolutely nothing short of awe-inspiring. And it was just so great to see that Simon's got him coming back for this year. That was a real coup. I don't know if you know of anybody else. I think John Holowati is going to be there. We couldn't have a conference without John because he is absolutely fantastic. I'm not sure where his slot will be, but perhaps he'll be wrapping up because he really is incredible. James, have you heard of anybody else?
No, I haven't really. But Gordon, have you got any more details about what's actually happening at the conference and what the program?
Nothing as yet, James. I mean, the agenda, as Michelle said, they're keeping it very well under wraps, but there's less than 400 tickets left, so they're kind of very, very close to kind of a sellout. So if you haven't got a ticket, and I mean, I'm sure Bob can talk about it, but the key is to get the people there that be alongside you, and that's kind of it.
So let's just talk. Okay, so it goes from 1 o'clock on the Saturday, March the 23rd, until what time on the Sunday?
It finishes at 2 o'clock on the Sunday.
Finishes at 2 o'clock on the Sunday.
Starts at 10 a.m.
Okay. So tell us exactly where it is then. Where is it actually being held?
The conference itself is at the
Brighton Dome.
The Brighton Dome.
Brighton Dome. Okay, that's great. And then for hotels, what are the best hotels to stay in, do we think? The Grand, obviously.
Yeah, the Grand. There's the Marriott next door to that. Not the Marriott, the Hilton Metropole next door, where we've got our team dinner. But there's so many different hotels, and there is a link on the Juice Plus conference app for all the accommodation as well.
Great. Okay, that's fantastic. So why don't we just talk a little bit about the dinner and how that is going to work out and what the plans are for that.
Okay, so the dinner we're going to have at the Hotel Metropole. Starts at 7 o'clock. We're going to have a welcome drink for everyone when they arrive, 2-course meal, and that's going to be followed by we're kind of planning to have some VIPs there. So we normally have a few kind of people guest appearances and gives a few words of wisdom.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have a disco. But that's not to deter if people want to go to the Prism afterwards and dance a nightclub away and all the rest of it till all hours. Fantastic. We'll just lay on some entertainment. And we're also going to open it up. The Irish are going to join us. We've also got Nicky Tolson and Jeff Montague Smith and his team. Their team's coming along, and a few other people. So it'll be a great evening, and everyone, I'm sure, will have so much fun, as always.
And then how do people, tell us about the cost of the tickets, and then how do people get hold of it?
The actual kind of, the price of the tickets are £30, but James and I and Michelle are going to subsidise that with £5. So it's £25 a ticket, and you can get that. I posted the link, the actual kind of flyer up onto the Aquila group.
Yep.
If you then tag your teams in there, private message me for the bank details, and as soon as you kind of cross the bank details, then you're in. So
Great.
If you let me know who's coming and whatever else, we can organise that. We're expecting probably 70 people there. 70 to 80, maybe even more than that. But that's the kind of numbers that we're looking at.
Great. Okay. Well, that's going to be fantastic. And of course, you know, the dinner is just such a wonderful time for people to get together, connect. The conference can sometimes be, it's very exciting, but it can be a bit overwhelming in terms of the numbers of people. And the dinner just gives us a great opportunity to meet other people from the team, find out what they're really doing with the business. You know, it's really, really invaluable. Yeah. Great. Well, thank you for that. So where did you say again we get the tickets from?
Well, the tickets from myself. So if you kind of go onto the actual Aquila Road to Dubai page, sign up down at the bottom and just kind of notify me personally with a kind of private message, then I will send you the link for the bank details. Right.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
If you want any ticket links, then they're again on Aquila. The link to the Eventbrite conference tickets are there, and buy a ticket. Anyone can get a ticket now, so there's still some left, and I encourage as many people to come as.
Yeah, good. All right, well, that's great. All right, so obviously the whole thing about the conferences, of course, it is for ourselves, and we are there to be inspired. And I remember the first conference I've ever went to was in Orlando. And I flew, obviously, all the way to Orlando, completely on my own, didn't have anyone else in my team. And I just got so excited by what I saw. But one thing I determined was that I was never, ever going to another conference on my own, because I could see the massive camaraderie between people. And I could see the energy between the teams. And I thought, that's exactly what I want. So I'm just going to turn over now to Bob, who's in Florida. And Bob, obviously, you've got so much experience with our business. It's such a legend in terms of everything that you've achieved. But can you just talk us through your philosophy about the conferences and why you see it so important to be inviting people to the conference?
I'd be glad to. When I went to my first meeting, I was very negative. I didn't want to do this. I didn't understand it. And Jeff Burdick said if I didn't come to his first presentation, I was going to jeopardize the financial future of my children, my 5 sons. So I said, okay, if I come to the meeting and I don't like it, you'll quit calling me. He said, yes. I went to the meeting. I was shocked how excited I got. And at the end of the meeting, I got involved for the money. I've never hid that fact. I said, Jeff, I'm here for the money. What are the income producing activities? And he said, sharing the product, sharing the business, promoting events. I said, I have a financial appetite. I said, which one creates the most money? And he said, promoting events. And I didn't understand at first. If I get a customer, I make a commission. If I get a new rep, they become a customer as well. I make a commission. If I bring James to a meeting, I might have to buy him coffee or pay part of his ticket. So he said, and I caught on to this after I went to the event. The vision you get there, the bigger picture you see there, and the bigger the event, the bigger the picture. Like you said when you went to your first conference, I'm never going by myself again. And it's not only bringing a lot of people, it's bringing multiple lines of your team.
Yep.
Some people bring a huge amount, but they're all in one line. And James went to that meeting. Was it 31 years ago?
It was. Jeff Schlegel was speaking, Jeff Roberti. I mean, it was
June of '88.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Right. And I didn't know James, but a friend of mine gave me his name, and Sue called him. We set up the thing. We flew over to London. Sue had never been out of the country before. Got Sue a passport, went over there. And Sue said, what if he doesn't do anything? I said, you get to see London, and we can write it off on our taxes. But again, what Helen Keller said, a quote years ago, what's worse than being blind? Having sight and no vision. And another thing is having multiple small meetings building up to the big meetings. So here in the U.S., we have 2 conferences a year. So we got one in Sacramento coming up in April. So we have lots of small team events and sidelines as well, local events building towards the bigger event. So we might have 2 or 3 events a week, and we also do trainings, teaching structure, teaching promoting events. So we don't just sign somebody up and say good luck. We go back and support them. And today it's so good that you can do these Zoom calls. You don't have to be every place every week. You can do Zoom calls and cover a lot of the world. I did a call with Berlin this morning already.
Wow.
A new rep over there. So one of the U.S. distributors moved here. And I also tell people this about events. Let's say you're flying someplace on holiday. Say you're going to Germany or Italy or the U.S. Say you're going to Seattle. Why don't you find out what events are going to be taking place there in the next 60 days, who the leader is, in case you meet somebody on the airplane. If I'm flying to London, chances they're all not Americans on the plane. There'll be some Brits flying home and things like that. But I might not meet anybody. But if I have my business card and know what events are there, so I meet somebody on the airplane, and I said, "Well, do you live in London?" Yes. I said, "Well, there's an event next week. My friend James Sanderson is hosting it. It's Tuesday night at the such and such hotel or whatever." But I know that in advance before I travel. What events are there?
Yeah.
So I cannot stress enough the importance of small events building towards the big events.
Yeah, that's very good.
Again, June will be 32 years for Sue and I in the business, and the events. The first event I went there to tell the guy no, just to get him off my back. Yeah. And when I got to the event, I was the last guy that was going to change his mind. And when I got to the event, it totally changed my life. And Sue said, "I told you, Bob. I told you that this was the deal." And I saw both the residual income and the unlimited income at that event.
Yeah. So can I ask you, Bob, how did you then build your business with the big conferences? Because you had a lot of people that came with you to the conferences. How did you do that? And tell us about the numbers that you had at the conference and how your business started building.
The first conference, we only were able to get 22 people there. We have hundreds of them now. Okay.
How on earth did you get 22 people? I mean, 22 people is a huge number.
For our first conference, we started June 8th. The conference was October 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 1987.
Yeah.
But by doing these small events, and I bring James, say James lived where I did, bring James to an event, and he brings Gordon, and he brings Sue, and they all see a picture. And I go down in my team and find a worker. Sometimes it's not the one that's front line to me.
Yep.
So even if the worker's 3 or 4 down, I go down there and work with that person. And I go up upline and say, "Hey, you better qualify, or you're going to lose a ton of cash. This guy's doing this." And again, getting all the local small events, people could see the picture there. Then we get a big regional in the area, get them to a regional, and from the regional, we'd get them to conference.
So how did you sell it to the people? I mean, 22 people. What was your strategy to actually get people there?
It'll cost you more not to come to the world to come. People say, "Well, how much is it going to cost? The airplane ticket, the conference ticket, the hotel room, the whole deal of going to conference." I said, it's more expensive not to go. It'll cost you long-term more money not to go to the event than it will to go to the event. And it's your commitment. And again, doing multiple local events, smaller events, when they bring their guests to the local events and they see the picture, I said, you think this is good? Wait till this regional. And then they get to a regional and they hear, national speakers or whatever, and it builds more confidence in the bigger events.
Yeah. So what can I ask you, what sort of dropout did you get? You had 22 people that came. How many people did you have to invite to get 22 people there?
Oh, no, in our first 120 days, Sue and I talked to 425 people about the business. 11 said yes, 8 went to work, and we got rich. Okay. People spend more time trying to convince a no than working with the yes.
Yep.
Okay. Everybody's not getting involved. When I'm in a restaurant, a real good restaurant, and I got real good service, and the waiter says, no, I don't want any of your business, I said, great. Every time I come in here, I'm going to get a good service. He'll still be here. If he got in my business, he wouldn't wait on me. So yeah. I mentally played tricks on myself. But your excitement and leading by example. In other words, if I only talk to 5 people and only invite 5 people, I might get 1 to show up. Then my team's going to do the same thing. Leading by example and setting the pace.
Yeah.
Both with structure. And again, I can't stress enough the small events and teaching the compensation plan, teaching how to retail the product, teaching different aspects of the business, but the compensation plan and the advantage of structure. If somebody in a perfect world was 5 by 5 and somebody else was 6 by 5, I get 6, you get 36, and so on. The income doubles just by adding 1 team that duplicates. Mm-hmm. So again, painting a picture, what you saw there, and again, when I was telling Roberti it was too expensive to go for Sue and I and taking off work and this and that, and he said the same thing to me. He said, Bob, it'll cost you more not to go than it will to go. And I mean, I'm telling you, 32 years later, about $30 million, I can't thank him enough for getting us to that event.
Yeah. So what was it, Bob? I mean, obviously it's a long time ago, but when you first went to the conference, what was it that really you think absolutely captivated the people? What is it? Because a lot of people may not have been to the conference. So what is it that captivates people?
No disrespect to anybody. I saw idiots making money. Okay. I'm a high school dropout. Okay. I saw, and again, no disrespect to anybody, I saw average people from so many different backgrounds becoming successful. I was a construction worker. Dr. Du Bois is a high-ranked medical doctor. Okay. In fact, he graduated medical school the same month and year I quit high school. So we joked it, we finished it, and he jokes that I out-earned him. Okay, but he's very successful in this business. So having people from so many different backgrounds that you introduce your person to, and when I bring somebody to a conference, I know my friend's background. So I'm going to introduce them to some people with a similar background. And he said, oh, James is doing it, I can do it. Gordon's doing it, I could do it, or whatever. All right. So again, I think seeing so many people on stage with different backgrounds that become so successful builds their confidence and belief.
Yeah.
That's what it did for me. I mean, when I first started, I was hoping that we'd make an extra $1,500 to $2,500 a month part-time residual income.
Yeah.
Going to the events, as the first couple months went by, it showed us there was far more money here if we did a few different things. And then when people come back and use the information they got at conference to increase their check and increase their team, and they say, Sue, you need to get to this conference. This is what I learned. Look what it's done to me in the last 90 days.
Yeah.
Okay. And also having local events set up prior to the conference to follow the conference for the team that don't go, so you can convey that information so they'd be more likely to come to the next conference. But Sue and I always have a local meeting set up, because everybody's not going to make the conference.
Yeah.
I wish they all would. But we always have meetings at home set up for the week after the conference to relay all the new information.
Yeah. So Bob, we're going to have a chat in a minute. We're going to ask for questions, a Q&A. But tell us what happened after your first conference. You had 22 people there. What happened to your business after the conference?
It exploded. We got a check in August. It was 10,000. The next one was 30,000. After the conference, by my 8th month, Sue and I were making $50,000 a month. Our 3rd month we went to the conference, and it blew our business apart. I mean, in a good way. I mean, we saw so much bigger picture. I didn't realize how much money was here, and at that conference, I saw bigger picture, and I saw people there that I had friends like at home. I said, my mechanic friend Joe, this guy here on the stage was a mechanic, and look what he's doing. So then I could even do 3-way calls with the person. So introducing my guests to people with similar backgrounds at the conference, and I think that shows them that they did it, you can do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's really great. So, we've covered a lot with the conference, about the conference. But let's have some questions and answers now. So, is anybody like to put some questions?
I don't know. I can't hear it. I've only just turned it on.
Okay. So let's just have some questions. Does anyone have any questions for Bob? Sue Worrell, I can see you there, writing away and taking notes. Anything that you would like to ask Bob, Sue? Can't hear you, Sue. Can't hear you.
Okay.
That's it.
Hear me now? Sorry.
Yeah, I hear you now. Well done. Yep.
Hi, Bob. Nice
Hi,
to see
Sue.
you. So it's very exciting at the moment. We've got the new product out. I did a post today and got almost 300 likes on it. And that's a whole new ball game, I think, a whole new product. The company seems to be moving on. There's a lot of investment in it. So how do you feel about the company now and where it's going, Bob?
Oh, better than ever. Better than ever. And like I tell people, we got a nearly 50-year-old company, right? It was founded in 1970. All right. Fruits and vegetables make sense to people. We're the most thoroughly researched product of its kind in the world. Fruits and vegetables will never go out of style. So, back in the late 1950s, there was a toy called the pogo stick. By 1962, there was no more of them. Okay, so we have a product that will never go out of stock, and man's not going to quit messing up the environment. So demand for our product will only increase. So we have a product that everybody needs. Everybody's not going to buy it, but everybody needs. So everybody's a prospect. It'll never go out of style, and demand will only increase. So, I mean, you couldn't have a better product with a solid company, 50 years old.
Yeah.
And a compensation plan. And I show them just the performance bonus. I'll use US numbers. If I built a team 5 by 5 and they only did $100 each a month, I would make right at $20,000 a month US. Your phone's ringing there, Sue. It's over here.
Yeah.
Different Sue.
Yeah, come on, Sue. Yeah.
So James, I've got a question for Bob.
Yeah.
Bob, in the last few years, as you know, social media has taken a massive made a massive impact in our business. But I know you're not a social media kind of guru, nor am I. So how do you see the invitation process going for people like yourself and myself who are not on kind of social media? And do you see social media being an advantage or a disadvantage?
I see it as an advantage, but you still need the face-to-face and look at the friendships we built over all these years, Gordon. Michelle, yourself, the team. But in fact, at the conference in Sacramento in April here in the U.S., they're going to have a special social media training there. So another thing about conferences is they'll help you learn things that you need more help on. My age, I didn't grow up with social medias and computers and cell phones. you know, like my grandkids. And you know, I told you I got my 10th great grandchild on the way. I found out just before we came here. So my family's grown, you know, just like my team has.
Fantastic.
There'll be 24 total grandchildren.
That's amazing.
And when Sue and I started, our kids were in high school.
Yeah.
So Bob, what would you say to each person that is listening to the call tonight that has bought their own ticket, or maybe they haven't bought their own ticket, but let's assume everyone has bought their own ticket. What would you say to everyone who's bought their own ticket and who might be thinking about just coming on their own?
Okay, now if you can't get anybody, go on your own. But I can't tell you the importance of not only bringing as many as possible from multiple lines. I can't stress that enough. All right. And again,
and why do you say that, Bob? Why do you say that so much? Why is that so important?
Okay. Because when you get to conference, I never understood this. I can tell my best friend that I've known since first grade all about it. I bring him to conference, introduce him to James. He buys right in. I said, "You don't even know James," but it's like a third-party documentation that there's too many people with different backgrounds that are successful speaking at conference. I think that shows people that anybody can do it if you just go to work and follow our system. Are you willing to go to work? What would you do for the next 2 to 5 years to change your family's life forever?
Yeah.
I ask people that. What would you do for the next? What Sue and I did our first 3 to 5 years, stabilized our income 32 years later. I mean, unbelievable. Back when they mailed checks, my mom saw my check one month. She said, "Bobby, they're going to put you in prison. This can't be legal. Nobody in their right mind will pay you that much money." You know, we bought her a house. Sue and I bought her a house, and you know, to help her out. And she just couldn't understand how we possibly made this much money. I said, "It's all legal, Mom."
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, as you were just saying, the key thing is that if we take people along, the conference basically sells it to the people.
Right. Bringing people there and then introducing them to friends of yours in the business, sideline or downline, upline, that have similar backgrounds, helps them see the picture.
Great. Well, Bob, thank you very much indeed. I mean, you've just been amazing, as always. I hope you have the most wonderful time where you are.
We are. And again, if any of y'all have people in California want to come to Sacramento conference, you know, they can come Thursday night and hear Rick speak. That's open to the public.
Right.
See, sometimes that's what we do with local people. We get them to come to Thursday night event that's open, free for guests. And then they see a picture. Some of them commit to coming to the conference then. And the conference starts the next day. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, Bob. Well, look, thank you very much indeed. We're going to move away from you now. We're going to go back to Michelle.
Okay, I've got to get back to this dinner party.
Okay. All right. Well, great to see you. Take care. We're going to keep on just a last couple of minutes, but thank you very much indeed.
Thanks so much, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
So,
thank y'all.
Michelle and Gordon, let's just do a final summary of the dinner. And also, you know, how people can get their tickets for our dinner.
Okay, so well, two things. There's still tickets available for the conference, so you can get online. The Eventbrite is still open, and I believe there's less than 400 tickets left. You know, so it's still time to get a ticket. We're 33 days away from the conference. Our dinner's on the Saturday night. It's at the Hotel Metropole.
Hilton.
The information is on the Aquila Facebook group. And if you put your name down, tag in your team, put your name down. And I know that I've had a couple of messages. Aviva, you're number one. You're number one on the list. And, you know, we're hoping to have 70 odd people there on the Saturday night. So 2-course dinner, welcome drink, VIP guests, and some entertainment, dancing.
Great. Well,
Okay.
fantastic. Well, what can be better? So we're right on 9 o'clock. Thank you, everyone, or 10 o'clock in Central Europe. Thank you, everyone, very much for joining us. We just can't wait to see you in Brighton, and we can't wait to welcome your guests as well. And I hope the point is very, very clearly made that if we have people, then our businesses will explode if we bring people with us. So I think that's everything for tonight. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.